Welcome in, everyone. It is Friday. We have made it by the skin of our teeth to Friday. We're into Furniss Fast Lane with Facts Not Feelings with the one and only Nathanael Greklek. Nathanael, how's it going, buddy? How you doing?
Well, it's I didn't feel like it's Friday. Everything just seems to come together, but happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday. And Peter, like, you not only are the first comment, dude, like, you beat it by, like, I'm actually looking at it, I was like, you, like, 10 minutes early, you're throwing in comments there. So you beat Jeff. You beat both Jeffs. Jeff sure is second. And Peter, yes, you had to camp out. Jeff, you know what they say about second place. First loser, man. That or there is your first or last, one of the two.
Savage.
So.
Savage.
Oh, man. But we were talking offline here for a hot minute. Like, I don't know if anybody else is feeling this. Like, I was on multiple meetings yesterday, way more meetings than I want to be on. And multiple times was stated, oh, Brooke, we've made it to the weekend. I go, you guys know it's Thursday. Friday's tomorrow. We still have another day in the week. Like, but it's just been a crazy week.
Still a lot of work to be had.
A lot of work. Like there, yeah. And the same breath, I'm like, I need way more hours in the day than I'm getting right now. I'm like, if anyone can figure that out, let me know. And it is now officially a party because Brian Ortega, your older brother, is here.
Yeah. If we keep saying it, people actually believe us.
You know, I roll with it. I'm gonna just blast it everywhere. I'm all for it. How long have you two known each other?
I think it's been 3 or 4 years at this point.
Okay.
A little bit longer.
All right.
Somewhere around there.
As long as I've known the two of you, I've never, this is going to be double negative. I've never not heard him call you his younger brother. Like, it's always been, you're my younger brother. Like, it's always been that way.
Yeah. It'd be like that. What's up, B-Tags?
But before we jump into the show, you're wearing red right now. And so I just want to kind of tell people, I'm going to have you, obviously you go into this, but why are you wearing red and you're all out on red right now?
Yeah, so as you can see, I have a little survivor on my hat. I'm a congenital heart. I have congenital heart disease, and the month of February is actually Heart Month. And today specifically, it is wear red. Go wear red for women. Wear red with the American Heart Association. So we're wearing red today for heart.
That's so cool. And I remember this is a while ago, but it might have been our last show that we did together, like an actual episode. And you were having surgery like the next week, I want to say. It was like really close. Like, so it was like 2 years ago?
Yeah, right? Yeah, 2 years ago, I had a new pulmonary valve put in.
Which is crazy, man. And I mean, everything's good now. You're all good to go.
So far, I haven't heard any bad news. So I guess no news is good news at this point, right?
And you also said you're DJing the Special Olympics tonight?
Yeah, so we work, Mohawk Auto Group works hand in hand with the Special Olympics New York. And so they actually asked me, they have like a little prom. I do a bunch of other events like the United Champions, the Dagan truck pull, and I just did their polar plunge this past November. So yeah, it's a great cause. They're awesome individuals, Tom Mooney and the powerlifting Special Olympics crew, they're awesome. And it's just a fun time.
That's so cool. And Larry, hello to you, buddy. Yeah, like you said that. I was like, how I know that you have your hand about everything. I didn't know you were doing that as well. So that's just applaud the effort. Everything that not just Mohawk's doing. You obviously you're a part of that as well because it's you. Jeff, I see you the next time I need to trip you. Yes, trip him. Yes, 100%. But you guys just do so much in the community. And I know as an industry, we do so much. Not a lot of people will talk about it. They want to talk about all the negative things. And yet, whether it's from a culture standpoint of being empowered and empowering and enabling your employees to just do what they need to do to get the job done. But then for the community outreach, I mean, there was probably was a couple years ago. I don't remember when it was, but you guys did. It was true to my heart. Was some like sneaker giveaway, like a Kicks giveaway or something like that, or like
Kicks for Kids. Yep, we worked with a local church. His name is Pastor Charlie, and so he does stuff with foster kids. That's so cool. And so they have this little shop that these foster kids can go to free of charge, and they get to pick out shoes and clothes. And some of these things are the first time they've ever had new shoes or new clothes. So being a part of that was awesome. That's what you're referring to. That
is so cool. All right, well, let's jump into this. I know it's Friday, and somehow we've had 2 weeks in a week, so I don't want to take everyone's time here. We just had a freaking kick-ass episode that just dropped because of yours truly over here as I'm pointing to you. I went back and watched it. I always go back once we record. I watch it the first time, do my editing, or send over to the editing team, but I go through it, and then I'll end up watching it and listening to it multiple other times. And every time I've gotten something a little bit different out of it. So I'm curious with you, what was one of your main takeaways from the show?
I think the biggest thing is that we're changing our perspective on what a content funnel is. We're changing our perspective on what content and social media in the dealership looks like, and how do you do that, right? I think we're becoming more. We've been getting out the awareness of making content in the dealership for a very long time now, but now we're going more into practical because there's a lot more individuals now that have joined this content creation team inside of the dealership. So we're working on giving tactical and practical tips for these content creators. And we're still pushing brand. We're still pushing the fact that people need to be able to know, like, and trust you. But now we're getting a little more tactical for those individuals that need it.
And one of the things, like, I love the tactical part you kept saying, and one of mine, for at least for me, was the authenticity. Like, we all know the saying, you buy the car, yes, but you're buying the person, the car comes secondary. So if you don't trust the person, there's no way you're going to do business with them. And we went on quite a bit about that, and just how I give the example. I was working with a store that said, oh, dogs sell. I go, that's great, guys. Do you guys do anything pet related at all? Well, no, not really. But Brooke, if we put some stuff outside, it'll bring in traffic. I go, but if you've never done this in your life, not that you can't do it, but do you own a dog? Are you allergic to dogs? Like, I don't know. But like, there was just like, oh, we know this is going to sell because Subaru does it well. I'm like, but you're not a Subaru store. And so like, really, like, going back to say, like, if I started like saying I wanted to only wear Kobe's, everyone look at me weird, like, wait, that's not who she is. She's Jordan. She's not a Kobe LeBron fan. Like, what's she doing? So staying authentic to you makes such a difference. And I know for me, that's one of the biggest compliments I get is like, when I meet someone for the first time in person, I better be better in person than I was online, and being authentic to you. So that, I know we talked quite a bit about this, but I'll let you take that one.
No, for sure. I mean, if you're not showcasing the humans that someone's going to see when they walk into that dealership, and you're just trying to push price, or even the dog scenario, right? Like, take it one step further. Yeah, you like dogs, but do you give to a shelter? For a while, we were bringing foster dogs into our facility and showcasing them on our social media, and we do a biannual pet adoption. Are you in the community doing stuff with animals versus just saying, hey, we love animals? Mm-hmm. And that's really what we were talking about, is take that one step farther and make the impact in the community and document it. And it's not to be like, hey, give myself a pat on the back, but it's to showcase that you are actually a part of that person's community. And it's not to gloat or brag. It's just to say, like, hey, we're here. And the best part about it is that when you share that, and we talked about this, collaborations and partnering with the community, you take their social and you take your social, you come together, you're giving them more exposure. So for instance, if it's a foster shelter of animals and you're showcasing this dog, you're using your audience to showcase the animal so that animal gets adopted and finds a forever home. Mm-hmm. There's a better plot to it than just saying, hey, we love dogs. Mm-hmm. Hey, we love animals. It's, why do you love animals? Mm-hmm. Well, they do a lot for humans, yes, but we also have the ability to give them a better life. And there's the storytelling within, hey, we love dogs.
Amen. It's always taking that step further. Like, how else can I improve on this? Or how does this, and that brings me to the joys that you and I will vent about a lot, is the ROI return on social media. And we get so caught up, not just in our industry, but in industries in general, of like, well, it didn't drive a lead, didn't drive a sell. I'm like, but did it though? Because if we're branding accordingly, the first person I'm going to think of when I'm buying a vehicle, oh man, they did this pet adoption, is really cool. Oh, you got DJ Nate Dog. I think Brian, DJ Nate Dog in the house. Like, hey, wait, he's DJ
Nerdy Nate, DJ Nerdy Nate.
There we go, DJ Nate. And he's helping out with Special Olympics. So whatever it may be, the first thing that comes to mind is going to be that business, whatever it may be.
Yeah, and I mean, it just goes back to, like, what are you doing? Who can? Yes, dogs bring us a better life, but it's just taking that one step further, for sure. It's just one step further. That's
Amen.
really all it is.
I agree. What was one of the other takeaways?
Honestly, brand. I mean, that's really all it is. Is make content for the people that want to see it. It's not a funnel. The process may be a funnel, which I've talked about before, which is getting the higher ups and working way down into the culture of the dealership. But finding someone that is passionate about content creation within a dealership, doubling down on that and getting people involved. And I think one of the biggest takeaways is learning about how do I get someone involved in a dealership when everyone's telling me no.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, you have to be in it, right? You need to be willing to put yourself out there. And I believe that I mentioned about me being live with our salespeople first,
mm-hmm.
and showing them it's not that hard. I give them softball questions to really, they know, right? They're training day in and day out. Give them the easy stuff. And even now, you know, a prime example, this wasn't in our podcast, but we thankfully, and I posted on my LinkedIn about this, is that Jeff Harridan, who's the dealer principal of Mohawk Honda, said, hey, take a look at this YouTube video. I want to get something done like this. And it was an ASMR high quality video. Now we've seen ASMR videos. They've been a trend for a while, but we took it to a longer version, which is about 1:20, right? And it's not really the trend anymore, but you take it, and the person that is in this video is from our dealership. She's a BDC rep, but she doesn't have to talk,
Nope.
right?
I actually noticed that. I was like, you don't have to say a thing. No.
You don't have to say anything, but you can get them involved in it. And that's almost like a gateway to other videos. So you have to start somewhere. And if you're afraid to start somewhere, then you need to find someone that's really enthusiastic about it and get them in, and then have them bring other people with them to show them it's not that scary.
No, and it was very well done. I actually watched it the 2 seconds I had where I wasn't in a meeting. I was like, damn, like it's done very well. Not that I would expect anything less from you, let's be honest. But just like you expect that to be a shorter form video, and it's a little bit longer, but it's just the angles, everything is done. And that one of the other things I noticed was 100%. I was like, she doesn't have to say a thing. She just has to look pretty and do her thing, look awesome, and then walk away. Like, it was done so well, like the fingernails, everything. Yeah. So go check it out. It was on the GV70, wasn't it?
Yep, GV80 at Mohawk Honda, but we did a second one. We did a Mustang Shelby at Mohawk Chevrolet. So we have 2 of those rocking. And that's another thing too, like the owner, he's also the vice president at Chevrolet. So the dealer principal at Honda, vice president at Chevrolet. We're able to get more content out with more people. If I was the only one shooting, it would take me multiple days to do that. But we were able to get spots. We were able to get videos done at both places together with synergy, and everybody knew and understood the assignment, and they nailed it. They crushed it. Team was great.
Yeah, they did a phenomenal job. And based on what we're going to engage right now, I don't know if you're still out there, or maybe we're having some technical issues, but throw something in the comment. Let me know if you're still there. But I do want to everyone knows at this point, you guys were just at NADA. In fact, I've got my Rattle t-shirt over in my bedroom over here. Let's talk a little about the dealership, because for me, like, yes, is it awesome? It's phenomenal. Yes, there are so many like little stories behind there that I don't think a lot of people know. Brian, thank you very much. I get so nervous every time I'm in front of a camera. Yeah, you do. But like taking someone from outside the industry it initially didn't take off the way you guys thought it was going to take off, and then it just goes crazy. So talk a little bit just about the whole dealership concept.
Yeah, so in the podcast, we talk about how it gets started. Essentially, there was an employee of ours that was putting these little ducks on. I talk about my side, which is I was at the Honda store, and then I came up to the Chevy store, and Grace and Ben are like, hey, this employee's putting these little ducks around. What are we going to do? And we've always wanted to do an office style shooting. And we're like, let's just roll with it. Let's see what we got going on. And, you know, Grace and Ben took it to the moon. And
I killed it.
That they absolutely killed it. And that's another part of having a team, right? If it was just me, who knows, I probably wouldn't have done it because I wouldn't have had enough time to do it.
Yeah. No, and it is like, and we were talking even on the show, before the show, NADA, whatever, and just the differences of having that talking to a friend and just said, hey, so many times we get caught up in our ego that I know how to do it better, or my experience is I know better. And you don't do so when you do that. Like, you really do have to think outside the box. But like, hey, I brought in somebody else, whether they're outside of automotive, inside of automotive, but they may not have been doing it as long as you, but they still have very, very valuable feedback in order to get that up and running. And I think you said, was it Grace is the big office, or was it Ben? It's like the knows
Ben's the biggest Office fan for sure.
That's awesome.
But Grace really had that Michael Scott humor and really connected with the audience, and everyone loves her, and we just kept rolling with it, and it led to big places. That's for sure.
Yeah. Next, Netflix next, who knows,
who knows?
That's fine. All right. Well, based on audience engagement, we're going to wrap this thing up. It is a Friday. Like I said, it's been Friday. It's crazy. I just wanted to take a moment and just thank you again once for everything you're doing for the team your entire team, the group itself. I mean, you guys do such a great job. Anytime, it was just this week, I had someone like, hey, who are good ideas, examples for social media? And I have a list of 3. You, Brian Ortega, continues to come on here, and a few other people. But it's like you set that bar of how things should be done. And someone may not have an entire team, but it gives you a barometer by which to measure things. So just continue what you're doing. I just really appreciate everything you're doing out there.
Absolutely. And honestly, I would give a shout out to the general managers here, and the assistant general manager, Katie, Travis, and then Travis Horn is our general manager at Chevrolet. Our general manager at Honda is Greg Johnson, and the ownership, Jeff Harridan, Steve Harridan, Andy Gelcher. They all are the reason why we can do this, right? Like, I don't have a job unless they say green light. So, and the fact that they really stand behind it, they understand the assignment. They give me the assignment, and they let me run with the creativity and the team's creativity. And if there's a dealer principal out there listening, vice president listening, general manager listening, hire somebody that's creative, give them what you're thinking. And I actually kind of talked about this on the Dealership Guy podcast, talking about the structure, right? You get your information from your general managers on what their goals and aspirations are for the month. Then you create the schedule of what you want to happen. And then you let the team get creative to showcase these to your customer base and your local community. And then you double down on your community efforts because we're community based. You can't say we've been a family owned and operated business and not be in the community.
Yep.
So there we go.
There you go. No, it is. I mean,
that's all I got. I'm sorry.
No. I'm glad that you said that, though, because that's something, like, as I do my walk and talk yesterday, I go, what people don't understand is that you're successful because you have the team. And it's not just your immediate, my editing team, my social team. It's the general managers. It's the sales managers, the service directors. It's the owner. It's everyone, because everyone has to be rowing that boat in the same direction. There are more stories than we all can count of, I have this great idea and it gets squashed immediately because, well, it's not going to have the ROI on it. Oh, well, we don't have time for that. That's not important. Well, whatever the excuse may be, we guarantee we've all ran into them at some point. So really having the team behind you to say, let's run with it. Brian and Ortega are talking about this, and he goes, not that there's not a bad idea. Like, I'm sure there's a bad idea out there, but it's just everyone can feel comfortable enough to talk about it and be like, hey, let's try this. Let's try this. What about this? But when you're telling one person to wear 50,000 hats, and on top of that go viral overnight, there's a big disconnect at that point. So it's not just enabling and empowering you guys. It's also understanding the broader spectrum of how things are with social and knowing what it can do for you.
And I will say that I have had to 86 a bunch of different ideas because they're pretty outrageous sometimes. And then we kind of bring it into reality, but that's the fun, right? Like, that's where the creative process goes, and you just try to rein it in. You try to land the plane to where there's a 50-50 consensus to where creative and business correlate, using what you know from analytics, from Hootsuite or the native platforms, taking a look at those, seeing which content does well, and doubling down on that content because your audience is telling you how much they love that.
Yeah.
and having that person in house that understands that Instagram now is 50% non-followers that are seeing your stuff,
Yep.
and TikTok is one of the best lives to get reach. And the context really matters now, besides just having a follower base. I mean, at this point, followers are great because you still have that 50% that's going to your followership. So 50% of your however many thousands of views on top of 100,000 followers, you're going to have a little bit more there, but it's not the end all be all. It used to be get your followership up and go at it. Now it's the content is the king, and that will draw in the followership. And it's a constant life cycle of making all types of different content that is based on all the information you have. And there's a lot more to it than just here, do social media. Congratulations.
It is. And what's so crazy is I've had to explain this a couple of times to people. I go, YouTube is kind of the first, and you're seeing it with Instagram as well. If I go back and look at my metrics, the majority of the people, and it's for me, it's more than 50% are not followers. So if you're purely based on followers, you're missing the mark. And now it's great that you have X amount of followers, but look at the engagement of I saw this video, it was probably like 4 or 5 years ago, and it's some massive YouTube star. And I was very confused. I was like, what do you mean followers don't matter? He's like, it's not that they don't matter. It's just, you got to be looking. And I started looking at my metrics. I go, you're right. Like the majority of the people on certain platforms don't follow you. They're just there to consume it. And as long as the content's good, they're going to continue to engage with that content.
Right. And I think a follow is pretty cheap now these days, right? Like I see a good post, I'm going to hit that follow button because there might be something new. And then it's more on merit and algorithm based, right? Forbidden algorithms,
Right.
AKA people's wants and likes, right? Like that's really all it is. So if you can hit people's likes, jeez, that's a good one. Yeah.
I just saw it. You know what? That might be the quote of the day right there. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate that. Taco Cat.
But yeah, then the content is really what is going to hit. So you need to be making content for different types of demographics and different types of features, right? Instagram literally switched everything, and everybody's upset. We're at the mercy of them, right? They're seeing what's being engaged more, and even if they didn't, and they're just like, hey, we're going to switch it up. Like we have to adapt, overcome. And at the end of the day, like it's free. What do you want? Right? They literally don't charge you anything. And that's the beauty of it, right? Someone can go viral with one post and have one follower because their content is good. So
I just had a dealership friend that it was over end of the year, and he had a YouTube video, and the thing has, I don't know how many millions of views. And it was just something like a Ring camera of someone having a meltdown, and it just took off. I mean, I don't know if he's ever posted YouTube prior to that. It was just like, I'm just going to throw this up there to kind of make fun of this person, lightheartedly make fun of the person. And it went nuts. So you just never know. And then you can, to Brian saying, brainstorming is so key. Like there's so many times I'll post something and I'm not doing it for the followers. I'm not doing it for the likes. It's how can I help other people? That being said, you're like, this is the one that's going to take off. And it doesn't. And you're like, and then some random one that you thought was horrible, that one takes off. You're like, I don't understand what's going on right now.
Nope, you won't.
Never. All right, buddy, let's wrap this up here. Get you back to your wonderful Friday. Work on your DJing skills. And everyone, as always, you know the drill at this point. Find a way to serve today. Find the way to be the joy in someone's life. You open a car door, give me a kind smile. Just do something to better life just a little bit more. And that everyone will see everybody next week.